Okay, so reading about the Devos is what I'm gonna call them. What can you guess, like, happened to them when the habitat changed? Like, what was your answer for, like, what changed about them? Or if their habitat changed?
I think they switched to eating seeds. That's one of the things.
Does anyone agree with their answer?
Yeah, I put that too, and I thought
Why do you
that
agree
they're.
with that?
Why do I agree with
Yeah.
that? Because
What evidence in the paper gives you that conclusion? Anyone?
because the ants died and they had to find something else to eat.
Good. That's a reasonable explanation. And anybody else have any?
Well, it says that the trees lost their leaves, but plenty of seeds and dried leaves were on the ground.
Good. Carly, do you have anything different
I
that you
think
think might
their
have happened?
fur probably grew a little longer
Okay.
because it was colder and they needed to adapt.
Good. Okay, well, I'm glad that you said that. What do you think that adaptation means? And, like, how is that related to habitat change?
I think adaptation means changing a physical appearance or habit in order to achieve a better outcome for your life.
Good. So you're saying, like, in order to survive and continue to breed and make sure that the animal doesn't die off, that they need to change to fit the environment, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, have you ever heard the use of the word adaptation in, like, common language? Is there any confusion as to it can be used in, like, kind of scientific, like we're talking about, but it's also used another way?
You're talking about different situations. You talk about how you have to adapt to different situations.
Yeah, or like, this is just an example. Like, there's film and movie adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're talking about adaptation, you have to remember that in science it means something different than in other other forms. Okay, can you think of an example of an animal that has had to adapt because of habitat change, like now?
The polar bears.
Good, that's exactly what I was gonna get to. Okay, what about the polar bear makes you think that?
Because of, like, global warming and stuff. Do they live in the Antarctica or which part?
In
The Antarctica.
Antarctica? Yeah, I was just.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's getting hotter, so they're having to learn how. Like, a lot of them are dying off, but some are trying to adapt, and.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're having, like, the issue of loss of food source and the climate change, and they just can't adapt fast enough. And so I have pulled up right here for you guys, actually. It's, like, the polar bear. And because what things do you notice that would help it in its environment before climate change? What about a polar bear helps it, like, thrive in its environment?
It's color.
Its color? Yeah. Why does it color? Why is it
Because
color?
it's like everything's frozen, so it, like, can blend well.
Right.
Got a good camouflage.
Black helps it absorb the heat, and the clear reflects the sunlight.
Yeah, good. Anything else? It has, like, really big paws to help it walk through the snow, just like as if you were wearing snow boots. That's like something you have to adapt to as a human when it's snowing, right? You don't want to walk outside in flip-flops. So you're making that change so you can work with the environment. You're wearing, like, snow boots. Okay, good. Okay. What do you think happens to animals when the environment drastically changes? So, like the Devos, when the natural disaster happened and their environment completely changed, do you think that they can survive and adapt? Or
I think a lot of them died.
I think a lot of
Or
them
will
died.
die.
Yes. Yeah, and that's exactly what will happen because you can't immediately adapt and change right away. It takes a very long time for animals to change to fit their environment and work and thrive off of it. Okay, how would you use the term adaptation when talking about habitat change? I kind of just went over this.
Just changing different physical features or different habits.
Good. Yeah. Okay, and so for adaptation, there's animals can adapt to their habitat in 3 different ways: physically, behaviorally, and structurally. So an example of physical would be, meerkats. They have like really dark circles around their eyes, and that actually works as almost like sunglasses for them. It helps like keep the sun from shining like really bright in their eyes so they can see. Also, like, why do birds have wings? Like, why are their limbs not like ours? Because it helps them fly from treetop to treetop. So that's like a physical adaptation that they have. And a structural adaptation. Can anyone think of an idea of what a structural adaptation might be in like an animal? Or if I give you the example of a cheetah, what do you think like the structural adaptation of a cheetah might be?
What does it mean by structure? Like its body?
Like the shape
or
of
like,
its body.
okay. So
They're like really
long
skinny and
lean
long,
and-
so they can run really
fast, yeah.
fast, right?
That makes sense.
And behavioral could be like how they, like if an animal is nocturnal, and that's kind of how it survives off of its environment to avoid predators. That's something like a behavioral change or adaptation. How much time do I have? Let's see. Okay, have you guys heard of the Galapagos Islands?
Yes.
So there's a special breed of finch there, and and they originally, when they arrived on the islands, they fed off of really large seeds, but those are also preferred by other birds on the island. And so, what do you think that they had to do to be able to eat if the larger birds were eating the larger seeds?
Find something else to eat.
Yeah, and do you think that they had to, their bodies might have changed or they adapted at all? So if about 20 years later, scientists saw that they were eating small seeds, what do you think might have changed about them? Their beak. Yeah, they had smaller beaks so they could eat the smaller seeds. Yeah, that's about all I got.
Okay.
Yeah.